When we are working offshore, it can be exciting, but it can be also be dangerous. No matter how many safety precautions you take, accidents and injuries are common and sometimes fatal. When workers work on offshore, they can experience devastating injuries caused by dangerous conditions on offshore platforms, crew boats, checkup rigs, and tankers, and in the ocean itself. Workers often are not sufficiently trained and work long hours with few breaks, making the risk of injury even higher. When a serious injury occurs in an offshore accident, it can be emotionally and financially devastating for the victim. It can also be hard to determine where to start when it comes to recovering damages from injury or wrongful death. Offshore and oil field accidents are often preventable. They can happen during basket transfers, line handling, vessel collisions, and diving operations. Many accidents are same as you would encounter in many workplaces, such as equipment failures and slip and falls. But working on offshore is a more high risk workplace environment. It may lead to injury result from a fire or explosion. Despite the big budgets associated with the oil industry, there is sometimes very little training and oversight on an oil rig. This type of employer negligence can result in an unsafe working environment that leads to underqualified employees performing dangerous tasks that they are not properly trained for, resulting in serious injury. Offshore accidents commonly lead to head trauma, spinal injuries, limbs, and other injuries. These injuries are often specified caused by all rig injuries. We workers are working and oil rigs use complex and some equipment to drill and perform other tasks. Many workers are not properly trained on how to use the needed equipment, which increases the risk of offshore accidents caused by a human error. Deck accidents are the deck of an oil rig can be a chaotic environment when frenzied workers must constantly be on high alert. Workers are surrounded by trip hazards, fall hazards, electrical hazards, crush hazards, and pinch point hazards. They can easily be struck by heavy equipment, slip on wet surfaces, or fall when the sudden lurch of the vessel causes them to lose their balance. When equipment on an offshore vessel fails, it can result in a number of severe injuries. Workers can be burned, crushed, and even lose limbs. Operating machinery on an oil rig requires a high level of caution to prevent injuries from occurring. Fires and exposures are some of the most deadly causes of offshore accidents. They can happen as a result of improperly stored fuel, poorly maintained pipelines, or collisions between vessels. When there is a fire, worker may have to jump off the rig into the ocean, often from a height of at least 100 feet. Even though workers are typically trained in the proper way to jump, the stress of the situation may result in a jump that leads to severe injury or drowning. Accidents caused by fire and injury can lead to life alerting injuries and even the loss of an entire vessel. Injuries also commonly occurs on tugboats and barges, and offshore accidents can be devastating to you and your family. You may have injuries that require extensive and ongoing medical attentions and rehabilitation, leading to medical bills that seem to keep building up. Or a family have experienced a fatal accident that has caused endless pain and suffering. When you have lost your main source of income, it can feel like you will never find relief. An offshore accident lawyer can help you determine the amount of damages you may be able to recover and negotiate on your behalf to make sure you will get the best recovery possible. You will make sure you will have all the needed medical records and documentation to prove costs associated with your injury. They will also show your loss of wages affects you financially and make sure any third parties are held responsible for their negligence. An offshore accident lawyer always ready to fight for your rights anytime. The incident may occur on a ship of some sort of an offshore platform, on a dock or a helicopter transporting crew from and to land. It is important that hire a Houston offshore accident lawyer that will thoroughly investigate the claim to determine who is liable and what law applies. There is a large body of state and federal law applying to offshore accident claims. This is what is known as the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act. It is effectively workers' compensation for certain marine workers and dock workers that are not otherwise covered by the Jones Act. The Jones Act provides certain protections to workers on sea vessels, which includes jack-up rigs and oil rigs that are not attached to the ocean floor, such as floating oil rigs and drill ships. Under the John Act, it covers employees can recover for pain and suffering, disability, medical expenses, and lost wages. The worker's offshore injury lawyer must show the damages suffered were caused by the negligence of the employer. It is considered a featherweight burden because you must only tilt the scales of justice in your favor by a featherweight to win. This gives the injured workers and his offshore accidents lawyers a major advantage. Some accidents covered by the John Act are oil rig accidents, oil tanker ship accidents, drill ship accidents, cruise ship accidents, river boat accidents, barge accidents, shrimp boat accidents, tugboat accidents, offshore injuries, and state personal injury law. Offshore injuries that do not fall under the above laws may be covered by state personal injury law. Statute of limitations in offshore accidents is a deadline which your injury lawsuit claim must be filed or you to lose the right to bring it. Offshore injuries may fall under different federal and state laws. The statute of limitations may also vary. You should consult an offshore injury lawyer to determine your rights and limitations.